Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Mani G. Yes, continuing on with the 31 Days of Horror. It is now time to review the latest entry into the Pet Sematary franchise. This time, it's the prequel called Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Yes.
Don't fuck with them hoes.
Now, Pet Sematary Bloodlines is a 2023 American supernatural horror film. It was directed by Lindsay Anderson Beer. It was written by Lindsay Anderson Beer and Jeff Bueller, based upon the novel Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Now, the film stars Jackson White, Natalie Allen Lynn, Forrest Goodluck, Isabella Starr LeBlanc, Henry Thomas, David Duchovny, and Pam Grier. Now, in this film, taking place in 1969, a young John Crandall and his childhood friends band together to confront an ancient evil that has gripped their hometown of Ludlow. Because you know what they say, sometimes dead is better. Now, most fans of American horror novelist Stephen King consider his 1983 horror novel, Pet Sematary, the scariest novel he has written. And some argue it might be it. Some other might be some other novels, but many people consider Pet Sematary to be the scariest novel he has written. Now, the premise follows a doctor named Louis Creed who, following a tragedy involving his young son Gabe, decides to bury him in the cursed grounds past the pet cemetery, which has disastrous results. I'm pretty sure we all know what the plot of Pet Cemetery is, so I'm going to say anything more about that. Now, the novel was adapted into a feature film in 1989 that was directed by Mary Lambert, along with a sequel called Pet Cemetery 2 that was released in 1992. A remake of the 1989 film was released in 2019, where a significant change to the story was made in the movie and the novel, where Ellie, not Gage, is the one that was killed and brought back to life by Lewis. Now, despite this change that was ruined in the trailer, the remake was successful at the box office, earning over $113 million worldwide at the box office. I believe the film only cost like $21 or $21 million to make. So, despite what the trailer ruined of a significant twist, which I thought was terrible, the movie was still successful. So, American film producer writer Lindsay Anderson Beer brings us the latest entry to the franchise, and in her directorial debut, a prequel to the 2019 film Pet Sematary Bloodlines. Now, set in 1969 in the town of Ludlow, we see a young Judd Crandall along with his girlfriend Nora about to leave the town and join the Peace Corps. Unfortunately, events are taking place that will have Judd, along with his childhood friends Manny and Timmy, down the dark path that will reveal the deadly secrets regarding the history of the cursed burial ground behind the pet cemetery. Ooh boy. Yep, sometimes that is better. Now, I'm sure no one was really interested in seeing a sequel, let alone a prequel to the 2019 film, as most fans prefer the 1989 original and the 1992 sequel. Most people did not have a thought that was not good to remake the original Pet Cemetery. For the fact that again that the twist involving Gage and Ellie was ruined by the trailer, and everyone was very upset, including myself, because if you're going to make a significant change in the story, then you don't have that revealed in the trailer. It'd be best if you really actually kept that in the movie. Perhaps much more people would have enjoyed the movie. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I still did enjoy the movie despite the twist was ruined because I loved the performance of the girl that plays Ellie in that particular picture. But the fact that the twist was ruined pegged it down a bit. Now, you do have to give Lindsay and Allison Beer credit for coming up with an intriguing premises. This picture focuses on a young John Crandall and seeing how he first encountered encountered the cursed burial ground. Like I said before, it's very interesting to see Judd as a young man and how he encountered the cursed burial ground and how that plays into his life. Seeing this for the first time as young, I thought there was an interesting premise here. Now, while the premise may be interesting, the movie itself is rather flat, lackluster, and boring at times. Nothing really happens here. I mean, the first problem is the characters. No one really stands out for the audience to care about them when bad things start to happening. We see, I mean, the film starts off pretty good when we see what happens. Probably like maybe 5 minutes into the film, and I say, "Wow, this is going to start off pretty good." But then we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and okay, still waiting. Still not seeing anything interesting happening here. I mean, from Judd, his girlfriend Norma, Timmy, and the town folks, this looks like they're just going to the motions, and that's that. I mean, there's one part when something happens to Norma, and then we don't even get to see her until like maybe close to near the end of the second act of the film. It's like we totally forgot about Norma. Now, I do like the relationship between Manny and his sister Donna, as they seem to be the only characters that I was invested in. They seem to have a very good relationship. They have a nice bonding moments in the film. I really love these two characters. They seem to be the only two characters that seem to have any type of character development because no one else does. Now, I know this is Lindsay's first time behind the camera, and while she does do a good job in how the film looks, very good job production wise, it has a type of right atmosphere, it has the right tone, but it seemed like she didn't do a good job in getting the actors to give any life to these characters. They're too boring. I mean, their performances are rather flat and dull, and there's no energy from anyone that would get the audience excited to what's about what happens in the film. I mean, by the time the person that was buried in the cursed ground starts going around, you're expecting something excellent to happen, but it's just dull and boring. It's like, where's the stuff at? I mean, even with the twist that was ruined in the 2019 film, I was still engaged with Ellie was doing and was doing to not only to everyone else, but to Lewis and other characters in the film. I was engaged with that because I actually cared about her. That's due because of the performance of the actress in that film. Here, I don't care. As I stated earlier, the person that was brought back was just dull and lifeless, which also makes the killings that this person does dull and lifeless too. I mean, it doesn't hold back on the gore. There are some gory moments in this particular film, but it's like, okay, I've seen all this time before. There's nothing about this movie that allows you to care about what's happening to the person that was buried or what any actions he's doing, and that's that. I mean, come on, if you can get a 2-year-old child to be scary, as we saw in the 1989 version, you should be able to make a grown ass man be scary. But beer fails to do that. I mean, come on. I mean, it's like even after what happens to Gage at the end, Pet Cemetery, I just felt sorry for the kid because we cared about him. Here, we don't care about this person that's afflicted.
Oh, and I told you I can't talk to you right now.
Alright, just Daddy. Will you come over and play with me? First I played with Dad, then Mommy came and I played with Mommy. We played, Daddy. We had an awful good time. Now I want to play with you. No fair. No fair, no fair.
Now, it could be that the script that she and her writing partner Jeff Bueller wrote is one of the reasons why we don't get any bonding moments with Judd, Manning, and Timmy, who are supposed to be childhood friends. I mean, it would have been nice to see at least when they were children to see how well they got along to each other, and then we get another moment when they're grown. No, but we get no type of bonding moments between these three characters. I mean, even with Judd, who's supposed to be the main character, and it's nothing against Jackson White, the actor who portrays Judd. It's just that the script just doesn't give them any life to do anything. And what is sad is the waste of talent, as none of the actors, David Duchovny, Pam Grier, Henry Wright. I mean, they're just there. They just recite the lines, and even even Samantha Mathis, who is another person, it's just terrible. And it's like this. It's just sad because it's a waste of talent. And I thought, sure, they tried, because I'm pretty sure they tried their best, but they can't do anything with Beard and Bueller's script that doesn't allow them to do anything at all. I mean, veteran actress Pam Grier was wasted in this movie, along with Samantha Mathis. As like everyone else, they have dull and lifeless characters. I mean, what's the purpose of having these characters, especially these actors in these films, and the roles that they play doesn't allow them to do anything? I mean, you would think that the roles that they have is going to mean something, but they really don't mean anything. I mean, even when we get towards the third act, there's this huge, large exposition dump that just rolls the film out of nowhere. And it didn't make any sense to me. And it took like almost, it made the film 15 minutes longer than it needed to be. While this seems to be a nice premise, like I said before, a very interesting premise to take a look to see what happened to Judd Crandall. I mean, he is one of the principal characters from the novel and the movies. Beer's first job behind the camera is a dull and boring one. There's no thrills, there's no excitement, there's real no tension, no suspense to keep the audience engaged on the screen. Like I said, it's just dull and lifeless and boring. Now, obviously, I'll say this: it's not a bad horror movie. I've seen worse horror movies so far this year, so it's kind of hard trying to grade this particular film on my grading scale. But I have to give it at least 2 out of my 5 bloody gold coins because it is a competently made horror film. It's very competently made, and like I said, she does a good job of her production style and how she directs the film. Like I said before, it's just dull and lifeless. So there you have it, guys. That is my review and video for Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share because it does really help out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen Pet Cemetery Bloodlines? What do you thought about it? Leave your comments in the comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. That way, we notify anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as a Horror Miser, Monty G, and always remember that horror rules. I see you in my next video. You guys stay safe out there.